Welcome back to The Real Cosmic Joke. We're so excited to have you here for this hard topic. I think it's a hard topic. Authenticity and vulnerability. What do those mean to you?
Ooh. Do we have to say our names? Is it my name's Baytop Scott?
I'm Jalynn Schroeder.
Is there a point where we don't have to say our names? I don't
think
know.
we might be that point. This
Okay,
is like
okay,
episode 5, maybe. I don't know. Who knows at this point?
Yeah, I really don't know. We might just plug it in somewhere else. What does authenticity mean to me?
Yeah.
It means just, you know what? There's a bunch of mumble jumble everywhere about it. It feels like the safety to allow my imperfect expression to just perfectly come out. Just where my inner child is safe.
I love that.
What does authenticity mean to you?
Can I tell you what it means to chat GPT
Oh my
first?
gosh, girl. Yeah, you totally can. We love him.
We love him.
Even if he's the CIA.
His name's Cosmo. My chat GPT's name's Cosmo. Okay. Authenticity means being true to yourself, living in alignment with your values, beliefs, and feelings without pretending to be someone you're not to please others or meet societal expectations. It's about embracing your uniqueness and showing up honestly in your thoughts, actions, and interactions. At its core, authenticity is self-awareness, honesty, courage, and integrity. It goes on and on, but we won't keep reading that.
Wow.
And I was going to say authenticity is just like fully embracing all of you, no matter the circumstance, like no matter anything outside of you, just fully embracing who you are.
Yeah, I like that.
Which comes in layers.
Yeah, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the in between.
Sounds like a show.
The good, the bad. Yeah.
The beautiful.
It probably is some quote I read on a doctor's office wall.
A doctor's office wall. Yep. Authenticity. And I want to say, tell me if you feel this way. I have felt like in the past, I was being an authentic version of myself. I truly did believe that. And then now looking back, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so far away from being like who I am. But in that moment, I did believe I was being authentic.
Yeah,
so
I think a lot of people think that.
Yeah, I think there's layers. Don't you feel like there's layers?
Yeah, I would say, you know, I've always been just a messy person. I'm not like I'm a Virgo. My room is very clean and organized because I'm just messy in how I show up. Like I have just been such a fucking shit show in my life.
Messy human.
But I was just a hot mess. Like I would just show up to places shit faced and like alcohol wasn't involved. You know what I mean? Like a business meeting during the day. Like I was a mess. So I was being radically authentic, and I always thought I was being authentic, and I was in those moments of the tools I had, the people I was. I have always just been that absurd character in many ways.
Yeah.
But now my authenticity is it doesn't show up as much with this trauma expression.
Yeah. Does it feel like more cozy?
Yeah.
Like lived in.
Exactly. It's like lived in. I lived in Wyoming, and I gotta admit, those are some of the most authentic people, by the way. Wyoming people. They're just like cowboys. They just say it how it is. And like they have one of the highest rates of suicide, but I'm like, yo, they are authentic.
I love it.
Whereas like Utah is probably the least authentic state in the nation.
It's hard. It's hard here.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a different hard.
And I will say, I think that this isn't us saying like people here are inauthentic necessarily, but I think the culture here has created people that are not allowed to fully be authentic. And I can speak from experience growing up in this culture and the Mormon religion. Even if you're not Mormon, like you stated, in our conversation earlier, even if you're not Mormon and you're in Utah, you're still subject to this culture. And when you grow up in a religion or a culture that says you need to be a certain way, you need to be this meek woman that cooks and cleans and has children and serves everyone else, and like this is your duty. If you step outside those lines, you become the odd man out. So it's not a culture that supports women being these bold, like out there people. It just isn't. And so I really think I don't think people in the church or in this culture believe they're being suppressed or think they're being inauthentic. I Because I've been there and I thought I was being authentic, but as soon as I left that box, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have never been authentic."
Yeah.
Like who I was the whole time was basically smothered and smashed down because of this culture I grew up in, and as soon as I was able to stop outside of that box, then I started blooming and like, "Oh my gosh, like this is I used to think the things that I loved and the parts about me were Satan like tempting me because of the culture. That's the mind fuckery that I was dealing with.
Yeah.
And as soon as I allowed myself to not have any of those rules, I completely started blooming. But it's a process, and it comes in layers when you find out a new thing about yourself and you're like, "Oh, this was me all along." And then there's another layer.
Yeah, it's you know what I've noticed, because I've written about authenticity for, a million years, even in my hot mess era. um And it almost feels like it's this socioeconomic aspect too. And why I say that is because I used to, I grew up in poverty, and I think in poverty there's no expectation of you to become anything other than like probably trash. Like that's how I felt growing up, right? In
Mhm.
certain ways. And not that my family was telling me I was that, but just you go to a school system and it's broken and there's not, it's just you get free lunch, like everything is just there's no expectations because no one really thinks you're gonna ever get out of poverty or the
Well, and I'm sure
situation.
in those, tell me if this is correct, but I'm sure in those areas, like they're not hiring the people that are there to motivate and inspire you. They're hiring what they can afford in those like poverty stricken areas. And so it's just all very like, there's not,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's yeah, definitely that. It wasn't like Detroit or like backwoods Kentucky that I grew up in, but it was a fishing village, and I think poverty breeds authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I started going to college and whatnot, I used to mentor these two groups of teenagers like all the time, and I did some coaching and whatnot as well. And I would have these like very wealthy, well-to-do kids, and they wanted nothing but you could see them holding back because they weren't authentic, right? Because they wanted to get into the perfect schools, the perfect situations. They wanted that perfection.
Yeah.
Where the kids who grew up in poverty that I would mentor, they were like the most radical, authentic kids I, ever worked with.
Yeah.
But they wanted the to have the stability. They wanted all these things. So it's interesting how we're always look to the other socioeconomic type groups and we're like, oh, I want that. And then other people are like, I want that. And it's
Yeah.
it's like we're kind of in this space now, this equilibrium of I think all of us want authenticity
Yeah.
and also a fuller expression of your authenticity.
Yeah. I mean, I think I can say use social media as an example. I feel like we've lived in a very inauthentic time where we're we've built up all these like celebrities, right?
Yeah.
And all these influencers. And again, there's nothing wrong with any of these things if that's your path. But we've built up all of these things and these people that are just constantly pushing things at us. And I'm slowly starting to see that crumble. And it's been interesting. And I think it's because people are craving, they want real. They don't want to see everyone's perfect life. They don't, or the illusion of someone's perfect life. They don't want to see your perfectly clean house all the time, your perfectly dressed children, because that's not real life.
No, it's a mess.
Like it's not real life. And I think that's what people are craving is authenticity and vulnerability. And we're starting to see more of that. Like people are showing up and sharing the real and the raw hard parts about their life. They're showing the messiness. They're showing their their depression, their weight gain. I mean, people are starting to be real, and some people are still triggered by it. Like I see comments all the time of like, "Oh my gosh, why would you show that on the internet? Why would you set up a camera and cry on like and posted it to the internet?" And to me, I'm like, beautiful. Like, thank you. Do more of that. I think it's so healthy. Who cares if you fucking set up a camera and record yourself crying? I think it's so powerful to see people showing their human emotions and sharing a hard experience they went through. And I think we need more of that.
Yeah. What's been the biggest journey of unpacking authenticity in your influencer life? Like, what was that turning point for you?
Oh man, leaving the church. I mean, that's probably gonna be my answer for most
Ah!
things, but that's I mean, that's real life because put myself down for my whole entire life, telling myself like these things that I wanted and these dreams I had and these desires I had were all stemming from Satan, when in reality that was me, that I just wanted to shine and I wanted to do things how they felt authentic to me, but it was going against the church that I was in. It was going in against what I was told to believe. So as soon as I stepped out of that, I really got a taste of like, oh my gosh, like I can be who I want to be now. And
Mm.
that was, I remember waking up. So I decided to leave. I actually announced on Instagram. But before that, I told parents, went through a very dark time. We can talk about that another time. Very, very, very dark situation. But then once I came out of that, I remember waking up one day and feeling like I could breathe again. Like the only way I could describe it was it felt like someone had taken a massive bag of rocks off of my shoulder and they were just gone. I woke up
Wow.
and I was like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't been able to take a deep breath my entire life. And like, I can take a deep breath now.
Holy crap. How old were
I'm
you?
gonna start crying. Um, that was like 5 years ago, like 30.
Mm.
Wait, how old am I?
No.
32?
Yeah. No,
I don't know
that's all
how old
right.
I am.
I want to, what emotion is coming up for you?
I mean, it's just that was such a powerful moment, and I have so much gratitude for that. And it's really easy for people on the outside to be like, "Oh, she just left because she wanted to wear a tank top, and she just left because she wanted to wear tattoos." But in all reality, it never resonated with my soul, and I had so much anxiety every time I went to church. Every time I went to the temple, I would have these massive anxiety attacks, and I just told myself that it was social anxiety. Like that was a
Mm.
story I fed myself so that I would keep going and keeping a good obedient girl. And yeah, as soon as I left, I could just breathe, and just like reliving that back, that emotion is just like I feel sad. I feel deep sadness for that 32-year-old that spent 32 years of her life literally shoved in a box. Like I feel it makes me sick to this day. Like I don't ever want anyone to feel like that ever. But it also gives me so much gratitude that I got out of it. Like
Mm.
that I get to be who I am now. Like that's so powerful. And I think this is such a good reminder for me, you know?
Yeah.
Like I could have it so much worse right now. I could still be in the church.
Ah!
I could
Y-
still, oh, I'm not going
You
to say
could.
that. I could still, yeah, I could still just feel completely trapped. And what a blessing it is. And I believe I chose that. I do. I have actually have a lot of gratitude for how I grew up and that experience, even though there is anger sometimes about how long it took me to leave. I have so much gratitude for that experience because that what a beautiful way to show me what is authentic than living so long in inauthenticity
Yeah.
and then coming on the other side and being like, "Oh, this is actually what's authentic to me."
Yeah. This expression.
Yeah.
That would be difficult.
That was
I
I don't even
think
remember what question you asked me,
yeah, you know what? The
but I want
podcast
to hear.
listeners will remember. I think, when you talk about leaving the religion, this is radically different than leaving a religion in many ways.
Mhm.
The Mormon culture is every facet of Utah industry. And so when you're leaving the religion, it's like you're leaving a life.
Yeah, and it's
Whereas if you're in the South and you're Baptist or something, like this Baptist church doesn't always talk to that one, to that one, to that one. But in Utah, every church is connected, every word is connected, every person, influencer, everyone is connected.
Yeah, and I think what some people don't understand is it is deeply woven into every decision, every relationship, what you eat, what you wear. It is how you live your entire life. It's your entire existence. It is your identity to your core. It is not something you just go to on a Sunday. Like
Yeah,
if you are a
it's
true blue Mormon, it is literally everything. And so when
yeah.
I left and I started sharing that experience, people were so mean because they didn't like, why is this why are you making this your personality? I'm like, this was my entire existence. Like I just completely like unearthed my life, and you're just telling me just to like not talk about it ever again. Like this was my entire existence. I almost lost my marriage over it. Like I've completely not ruined, but all my family relationships have changed. I lost all my friends. I lost 8,000 followers on Instagram in 24 hours, which thank God, thank you for leaving.
Bye.
If that's how
They're
you
probably
feel.
back. Some of them are back now.
Oh, for sure they are.
Hey, girl. What
Oh,
up?
hey.
Hey, we still like you.
I respect that. Everyone has their process, but woo.
I'm grateful that you left.
That felt really good to just get out just now.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
feel
mean,
like
that's heavy stuff and people don't fully realize how heavy it is. And
I mean, even the way Utahns communicate, like,
yeah,
and it's not even just Utah; it's the Mormon religion. Like the people, if you were to line 10 people up, and I had a few sentences to share with them, like just the way that they communicate
yeah,
is there's so many blocks in it
yeah,
that you have to unpack all of that. Like
yeah.
you have to relearn how to talk to people.
Yeah, and here's another
There's so
story.
much.
Just if you want the magnitude of this, I was married for 2.5 years. I got married in the temple. When I met Sonder and we wanted to get married, I had to get permission from my ex-husband to marry my new husband. Women can only be married to one person, but in the church, men can be married to as many women as they want. It stems from polygamy, a bunch of whatever. I won't go into that topic. And then after I decided to leave the church, to actually leave the church, like fully to leave the church, I had to get a lawyer, and you have to write a letter to the church with a lawyer. You have to get it signed, all this stuff to remove your name from the church. So this is not just a place you go to on Sunday that you listen to a sermon and you leave. Like they literally own you.
Yeah.
If you have to get a lawyer and all these things involved to actually leave and remove your name from the church, like please tell me what that is.
Yeah, I mean, you can Google it, but we
Google
all
it.
know. We all know what it is. Um, Lots of beautiful people in the church.
Yeah,
It really is,
totally.
but there's also the loss of sovereignty within the
Absolutely.
culture.
And I don't have any hard feelings towards people in the church. Me and my husband's family are still in the church. There is no hard feelings there at all. I do not judge anyone who's choosing to be part of that, because I do believe some people are meant to be in that space in their
That's their
journey.
journey,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what makes them a good person, and that's fine if that's what they need to be their best selves. Like that's great for them. For me, it wasn't. And I hope we can get to this point in all of our authenticity journeys where we can honor and see that, okay, the church is for me, or maybe this belief is for me, but it's not for everybody else.
Yeah.
My issue is when you are telling me that this one belief, Mormonism, for example, they believe that they have the truth and everybody else doesn't have the truth. And I mean, this whole storyline with it, but that's where I have an issue, is when you're telling me that I'm going to go to hell and that I'm not going to see my kids when I pass away because I chose to leave the church. Like that stuff is so heavy, and it was so much to decondition,
Yeah. Yeah.
because there was times when I was like, "Oh my gosh, what if I made the wrong decision and I'm not going to see my kids?" But let's be real. If you believe in God or Jesus or whoever, do you really think someone that's based out of love is going to rip you away from your family
No,
for
they would
not saying
never.
yes to a religion that is man-made?
Yeah, exactly. Man-made. Yeah, I think we have a really skewed perception of love, and even we don't even know true divine love yet. I don't think
Yeah,
we'll know that
no.
till we reach the other side, but when you
Yeah,
are so pure in love, there's no way all these things would take place after in the afterlife
totally.
if God was real.
Totally.
I actually don't believe there's a hell. I think the hell is planet Earth, and we just keep living in it
I
over
agree.
and over and over again.
Well, isn't there something that Jesus has said, like heaven is a place on earth or something like that?
Yeah, it's here right now in
Yeah.
southern Utah on this couch.
I just believe that, we're getting really off authenticity topic, but I believe whatever our view is what we're going to experience. And I believe heaven can be on earth and hell can also be on earth. Like, which one are you going to choose? Where are you going to put your focus?
I agree. That's one of the things too. I've reflected back into our little friend group that we have.
Yeah.
Is this gets to be effortless.
Yeah.
We really, even if the shit is happening everywhere, we are wise enough, smart enough, like just we've got enough moxie, whatever you want to call it, DNA to make magic happen.
Yeah, totally.
You've got a whole family, and then our friend Kaylee, and it's like there's enough of us to just, get together and manifest this peace and this effortlessness and just hold on to that.
Absolutely.
So maybe next week we'll integrate that. Who knows? You know?
Okay, back to authenticity.
Okay. Have you ever felt like you had to perform a version of yourself to fit in? How do you navigate that now? And recent examples are welcomed.
Recent examples are welcome. I feel like that's been my whole life is trying to fit in. Do you feel like that? No, you've been pretty authentic.
Well, but it hasn't been easy.
Yeah, well, of course.
People always come up to me 2-3 years later and they let me know that, like, the way you showed up, it inspired me to show up more authentically.
See, and that's so beautiful because even if you piss someone off or trigger someone, you are planting a baby seed for them later down the road to be like, "Oh my gosh, like she
Yeah.
was being authentic and like maybe I need to take a look at myself."
Yeah, but it's not easy in this situation.
No.
So in human design, my foot is itchy. It looks like I'm itching my crotch on this video, but I'm a manifester in human design. And so being a manifester in human design, if you don't know your profile type, check it out and maybe even Google like what a manifester is. But we're here to catalyze people. Like we're here to initiate. And so, Hitler was a manifester, right? That's a bad example. Hitler,
I was like,
Stalin, manifestors. Other manifestors
what does
are
initiate people mean?
initiate means so with they say like without manifestors, nothing would really happen on this earth because we say something
Mm-hmm.
and it either triggers people into action for good or bad. Like we keep the balls rolling, if you
Yeah.
could say. Um, and there's a lot of judgment that comes with it, right? We don't have these open auras. We have very closed auras, and our whole purpose is to like move through a room like a bulldozer in certain ways and
Yeah.
just, initiate this way, this way, this way. And so relationships can be hard and challenging at times because imagine you're working with a manifestor and you're getting initiated every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, I'm done. And so sometimes there's these like it's drama a bit,
Yeah.
It's like whether we're initiating you unconsciously or we're trying to, pull out some truth,
Yeah.
we're always initiating. And as a child, oftentimes you're either turned into an extreme people pleaser or like you're quite rebellious. And I was a rebellious child. So I was always getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And, growing up, I had parents who were divorced, and my dad, what a beautiful teacher he was, but he was insane, like clinically insane. Like he was abusive. Like, so
Yeah.
anytime I showed up authentically, it was like, belt,
And what did that tell you as a child? Like that who you innately are is wrong.
yeah, and we basically went to cults, like all these cults all the time, but my dad was so crazy we'd get kicked out of them. So we'd be in this one church and then like a month later we'd have to move to another church, but there are always these radical ones where people would faint and so anytime I did something bad, I had like a toy thrown out or all my books were like ripped from me and like
Oh,
thrown
so
out.
sad.
And I wasn't allowed to eat dinner ever because I had the devil in me. So my whole life at my dad's house, which would be like every summer, was you're a horrible person for who you are. You literally are the devil. You're
Oh my
evil.
gosh.
And so, and then my mom, on the other hand, was, a great mother half of my life, my school year in Rhode Island. And my mom she just didn't have the tools.
Yeah.
But she was an alcoholic. She was emotionally void. Like any emotion was bad. So my mom didn't really care that I was feral, to be honest. She's like, just don't bother me. Like, just go over
Yeah.
there. So in a way, I kind of raised myself. So I'd have this like really like
Just
wild,
extreme differences.
yeah. So I'd spend most of my school year doing whatever the fuck I wanted. And even in school, like I'd get suspended all the time. My mom's like, well, that's just who she is, and teachers like, she needs to be medicated. My mom's like, nah, I'm good. And then, one teacher's like, yeah, she's special needs. Like she needs to be checked because she has like She's like severely special needs, I'm pretty sure. And my mom's like, no, she actually just doesn't care about you. She just does whatever she wants. So my mom was like totally cool with it, but she had to go and fight with the school district, and they got me tested, and turned out my IQ is like higher than everyone else's. And my mom's like, see, she just doesn't care. So my mom didn't care what I did as long as I could pass the class.
Yeah.
So there was like this really feral version of myself that got to exist, and then this really, like, I was broken. It was like I would go and be a wild horse, and then I'd go
Yeah.
to my dad's, and I was just broken,
Yeah.
broken, broken, broken. So that extreme difference was, I mean, it was quite taxing on my nervous
Well,
system.
yeah. So when you left the house, like, how did you show up authentically when you had two such extreme situations? Like, did you, I mean, was that like when you said you had like like a lot of your learning lessons and you were into drugs? Is
I would say, yeah, all my, extreme emotions to no emotion, it really put me in this hot mess of a addiction in my 20s, teens
Yeah.
and 20s.
And look at you though.
Look at me.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank
I feel
you.
like it just takes so much to come from like these extreme situations and then to go through so many like life things and then come out on top. Like being authentic and
Yeah.
like
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, "Am I on
conscious.
top?"
I
I'm like,
mean,
"Oh, like, I don't know, my life just fell apart last week. Am I really on top of it?" But
yeah, but that's part of being human. You still have come so far.
yeah, it's given me more confidence
Yeah.
being authentic. And, I guess getting back to this question, right? Have you ever felt you had to perform a version of yourself to fit in? I even felt that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I like 2 weeks ago, I felt that I was trying to be too spiritual, actually, too loving, and people can say there's not enough love, but I was foregoing my experience. And as a manifestor, I'm here to initiate change. And sometimes that change is uncomfortable. And when people are uncomfortable, they're like, well, we want you to apologize. We want you to do this. And was I the drama queen in that situation? I'm still unpacking it all. But also I know my role is to catalyze things. And sometimes that isn't beautiful. It
Yeah.
is imperfect. And so giving myself permission to just be like, you know what? Even though I might have not said the right thing correctly, I'm gonna stick to that. And there's lessons in me
And
just
maybe
sticking to it.
yeah, maybe we shouldn't be apologizing for being authentic in the moment either. I
Yeah.
don't know, it's such it's
Yeah,
a
it's a two-edged. It's if
yeah,
you
double-edged sword.
yeah, if you were hurt by something because you're my friend, I wanna have an honest conversation with you.
Yeah, but
Eh
I still wouldn't expect you like, if I was hurt by something, I would probably bring it up, but I don't know if I'd expect an apology necessarily. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want anyone to apologize to me about something that they don't feel sorry for, and not in a I'm a victim way, but it's like I think it's important for people to be authentic and honest, but you shouldn't apologize for something that you when you're being authentic that you don't feel like you should apologize for.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a tricky subject because,
It
well,
is,
I
'cause it's
care
like
about a relationship with you.
yeah.
When I say some of my shit, like, I'm like, you know what? I
Yeah.
actually I don't have a real relationship with these people. And not that I'm a mean person, I'm actually very sweet. But if I say something, I'm like, well, they'll figure it out. That wasn't the end of their life. But if I say something that feels uncomfortable with my friends, like, I want to have that honest conversation
Yeah.
because I respect you.
Totally. Honest conversation, but I wouldn't want you to apologize if you didn't feel like you wanted to
Yeah. But
apologize.
I was gonna say, like, sometimes I guess I could be narcissistic, but I had a test done because I thought I was a narcissist in my 20s. I went to therapy and I'm like, I'm a narcissist. And they did all these psychoanalysis and they're like, no, you're just severely depressed. I'm like, oh, okay.
I heard a quote that said, "If you think you're a narcissist, you're probably not," because they're not gonna narcissists usually don't technically normally
Oh
say
my
they're a
gosh.
narcissist, right?
Okay, they say that, but every
But
narcissist
no,
I've lived with,
they say they are still?
they have these mental breakdowns and then they cry and they're like, everyone keeps saying I'm a narcissist. Maybe I am. But then the next sentence is like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, baby, you are. You are the one. I'm going to therapy because of you. But it's all right. You know what? Everyone's a bit narcissistic.
What a dance.
What a dance. Okay, more questions.
Um, ooh, let's see if either of us can answer this. What is something you have never said out loud but wish more people knew? That's a hard question. I don't know if anything specifically comes to mind for me. Anything that comes to mind for you?
What was the last part of that again?
What's something you've never said out loud but wish more people knew? I can say something for my social media maybe.
Okay.
Like I think for me, being authentic, usually the messages I share come straight from my heart, and I have been misinterpreted and misunderstood. That is actually one of my biggest triggers in life is being misunderstood, especially when I come at something like sharing my heart or like trying to tell people something that I'm feeling or something I've experienced, and just to turn around and get like dumped on is so hard. Like I will always show up and share my heart, and I wish more people knew that and could understand that.
Yeah, you're not I feel like I resonate a lot with you on
Yeah.
that is when you bring something to light, it's because you want the truth to be seen. And we all
Yeah.
know at the end of the day there really is no truth. Like it's
Yeah.
just a we're in a simulation. Maybe you don't know that, but maybe you do. Um it's all a lesson and everything. But you want to catalyze truth into the world. And so
Yeah.
when you highlight something, you're doing it because you actually fucking care.
Yeah.
Um
But only that individual can know that. Like I can't know if someone else is speaking authentically, like only they can. I
yeah.
can feel I can
Yeah.
feel the energy of it. I can be like, that doesn't feel authentic, but also it's like not my place. It's they know if they're being authentic or not. So when we show up authentically and then people just shit on us, I will say for me, that has given I've had some major PTSD in the last like 7 months of things I've shared on social media. And I have developed thick skin. There's most of the time messages or comments like do not bother me, but I'm human. And so when it happens so many times, it slowly has kind of just torn me down to a place where I'm like, I shared a vulnerable reel yesterday and I felt like I was going to throw up.
Yeah.
And I knew I needed to share it. I shared it on TikTok first. I wasn't going to post it on Instagram. And then I had about 20 people that were like, I don't have TikTok. Please share it here. And I was like, okay, I will. So I shared it and I felt sick for like an hour because I'm like sharing things that are so vulnerable and so raw. It opens you up for people just to, yeah, shit on you. And
Yeah.
it sucks. It sucks when people can't see that I'm showing up, I'm doing my best, I'm in this healing process. And it really sucks when we can't hold space for each other.
Yeah.
Like,
We've never been taught how to do
no,
it.
we've never been taught. And it's always, I feel like everything's so black and white to the point where it's like, if someone shares an experience that's different from yours, the first thought or the first thing that people normally want to do is go and argue. Well, that's not my experience. Or my doctor told me this. Or like, what are your qualifications? I hate that one.
Yeah.
My qualifications are I'm human.
Divine intuition, bitch.
I have a brain and I'm listening to my body. Like that is way more of a qualification than a doctor that learned something from a book for 25
Yeah, most of
years.
these people don't love themselves. I don't take advice. I think my general is I don't take advice from people who don't overwhelmingly
Oh
love
yeah.
themselves. If you don't love
100%.
yourself, like your advice is actually irrelevant to me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't take advice and it's not advice that they're trying to give. They're trying to tear you down, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's where I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So I think that for me is what I wish more people knew, and I wish we could hold space for more people. Even if people are showing up and sharing something that's so offensive to you, just knowing that they're in their own process and holding back, like asking yourself, why do I feel the need to go comment something mean on someone else's post? Like they are in their shit. They have a feeling about this certain thing. I don't agree with it, but it's okay that that they're having those feelings. Like that's their own experience.
Yeah.
Like why can't we hold space for people having their own different experiences?
Yeah. I agree. I think I've definitely been that person who's been mean in the comments, and I'm like, ugh, cringe, 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 cringe.
But haven't we all? I mean, no one is perfect. We're all human. We've all done those things. But I think what sets people apart is have we learned from those things?
Yeah.
Like we're all going to experience being on both sides of every situation. We're going to be the people that said something mean. We're going to be the people that understand things and can see things from a more neutral perspective. Like we're going to experience it all. And are you learning from those things or are you just continuing on and everything that you're triggered at, you project back onto those people? Like, are we
Yeah.
learning from our
Can we break
experiences?
a cycle? Can we just
Yeah.
stop a cycle and not
Yes.
comment? Can you Dear listeners, today, can you stop the cycle?
Yes. And I feel like that's what
Yes.
2025 is about. I really, really believe this to the depths of my soul that it is going to be the most polarizing year. Think about 2020, how whiplashy that was and how hard that was. I think this year is going to be 10 times that.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna
I
be a
really
big
do.
one.
But I hope you guys see as we talk through these things and we move through this year together as a team. We're all going to be a team, guys, a community. I hope you guys can see the bigger picture and know that these things are falling apart and things are becoming more divisive and more polarizing for a reason. I really think it
Yeah.
has to get so bad before it can get better. Like some people have to get to a breaking point where they can step back and see that we had the power the whole time. Right now,
Yeah.
everyone's fighting over fucking
Left,
Elon Musk
right.
and left, right, and who's bad and who's good and who said this and who pointed their finger this way and who like it's insane. It's insanity. And like what is it doing giving our power away to these things? Like what is it serving? Is it serving you or are you serving it? There's another question.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, should we go to the next question? We're
Yeah.
going off so many tangents, but this is great. Do you ever feel pressure to be a version of yourself that doesn't feel real? I mean, we've kind of answered that already.
Um, yeah.
I think it's really easy to get in situations where you kind of have to.
Oh, wait, I don't know if I answered that last question, did I?
I think you did.
What parts of yourself you struggle to show to the world and why?
Yeah. Maybe not. Oh, I don't know. Do you have something? Sure. Go.
Um,
Get it, girl.
you know what? People tend to debate me, and I'm never trying to debate. It's literally, I don't know what it is about my energy. I'm not trying to debate. I just say a point and it triggers people and they're like, well, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yo, I was just having a conversation. Like half my dates with men, I feel like they end up trying to debate me and talk at me. And I was like, oh, I thought I was just talking about aliens or some shit. Like I didn't know we were in a debate. I'm like, this isn't fun. And I guess I wish people knew I'm really just like a very soft emotional human. And
Yeah.
I know I've gotten comments like, "Oh, you're intimidating," or "You're this or that," and I'm just a very super emotional, like probably one of the most emotional people I know, and I just am like a ball of jello, and I just wish people would look at me like cute and cuddly, but I guess I don't give off that energy half the time. I don't know.
I think if you really broke us all open down to the core, we all want the same things. We all
Yeah.
desire to be loved. We all desire to be understood. We all desire to be like our true authentic selves. And I feel like if we can hold more space for that, people are going to be more authentic.
I just wanna be a ball of mashed potatoes.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and then I want someone to eat me. Like, you know
Rated
what
R
I'm saying?
post.
Yeah, that's the X versions, you know? Okay, authenticity, yeah. We wanna do one more question?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, what do you got? What do you
Oh,
have?
I got the questions.
You
Okay,
have the
wait, wait,
questions.
wait,
I don't
wait.
have anything else.
Um, what's the most surprising thing you've learned about yourself on your journey to living authentically?
That I really like myself. Mouth drop. I
I
know that's
like you too.
thanks. I think I hated myself for so long, like growing up in religion and just feeling like what's wrong with me constantly, like constantly being told like something's wrong with you, the devil's in you, like what you were told, you know?
Yeah,
And it's like I hated myself for so long because I mean, probably up until a few years ago, I'm just like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I be like everyone else? And now that I'm out of the church, I'm like, why can't I be like everyone else all over again? And that's another thing I cried about a couple days ago because I just feel like I don't fit in anywhere.
yeah.
And I think that's kind of my journey and that's kind of the point, but it's hard sometimes. So I think that is one thing that I have learned is I really do like myself when I push away all the bullshit. Like I like myself to my
You love
core.
yourself.
Yeah, I love myself. I really do. And I can see my potential and it's hard when other people can't. But at the end of the day, we come here alone. We die alone, not in like a depressing way, but like we leave this earth on our own. So who you really need to get right with and love is yourself.
Mm. Yeah. Ooh, that felt good. I like that.
Okay, I want to hear your answer for that.
Yeah, it felt like I was at praise Jesus!
Jesus.
Hallelujah!
Should I pass out now?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll speak in tongues like the
Oh my gosh,
churches I
please
used to go
don't.
to.
That will freak me out.
Um, what's the most surprising thing you've learned about yourself on your journey to living authentically that I'm not for most people? I am for just a small group of people,
Yeah.
and I always say I'm on this like speeding bus and I'm going real fast, and you're either like jumping on or like I'm bypassing you and I'll catch you later. I don't know where I'm going to catch you, but like I'm I'm going places. I don't actually know where I'm going day to day. It's quite
We don't
a
know where we're going, but
yeah,
we're on a bus.
I'm like type B friend most of the time,
I
but
think the magic school bus probably.
yeah, most definitely magic. We're going inside the body and the cells and the liver and the colon and the stomach. Um and I think that it allows me to give permission to show up as myself, because when I go into situations and I'm like, I'm not here for everyone. I'm here just for my people. And I know when I say those key words of authenticity, we were talking about in the previous episode, when you go out to network, you go to parties, it's like I know that 90 something percent of the people I talk to probably won't be this divine connection. And when I spot someone who, I mean, you can spot their energy, right?
Yeah.
You walk into a place and I'm like, oh, I don't know you, but I like your energy already. I'm going to connect. And so just following that intuition
Yeah.
of authenticity. And I think that's led me to the most divine relationships. I feel like I have such a beautiful group of people around me who are so radically different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's inspiring, honestly. I wish every single person had just the close friends I have.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I want to put a little asterisk there. Um, when we say that like most people are not for us, it's not we're better than you or you're better than us or anything like that. It's more who you just have like an energetic match to.
Yeah, I'm not better.
Yeah.
I would say we're all messy people.
Yeah, we're all messy and everyone's just different and we're here to do different things. And I think when you find those people that see you in the most authentic and like radical way, it is so powerful.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's how I felt. I mean, you and I, when we reconnected at that party and went straight to like the deepest convos, I think we were talking about aliens within like 3 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
that's how I knew, you know? And I feel like I can count on less than one hand people that I truly feel comfortable saying and being myself. And you're definitely one of them. And I've
Yeah.
known you less than the other people that are on my hand.
Yeah. It
And
feels
so,
divine.
I mean, you allow like I felt safe with you to be myself, and I feel like that's really special and really
Yeah,
cool.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Same. I open your door now and I just walk in like that. We're friends. And I just feel like my goofiness can show out. Like I'm
Yeah.
really goofy. I'm a goofy girl, and
Yeah.
I just want to be goofy with my friends.
Yeah. And I like your big personality because then it feels like I don't feel like I have a big personality, but I feel like I can just fully be me.
Yeah. I feel like you have a big personality with me.
Oh, perfect. I'll take
Yeah.
it.
I wouldn't even know if you're an introvert, honestly.
Oh, I mean, if I'm ever in a group of people, you'll notice right away. I will be
Yeah.
in the corner sitting and observing. And I am an introvert, but I can be out there with people that I'm comfortable with. Like I get that comment all the time on Instagram, like, what do you mean you're an introvert? You talk all that like I'm like, I'm literally talking to I'm talking to myself.
I'm talking to a mirror, a small mirror that's
Yeah.
watching me.
I mean, let's say 2,000 of you see my story. If 2,000 of you were sitting in front of me, I would be shitting my pants and I would not speak like the way I
Oh my
speak to my phone.
gosh.
There's a big difference.
Oh, it's big.
That's why I love social media because I can be authentic because it's just I'm by myself.
Yeah.
I'm not actually talking to you guys in front of your face.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah, I don't want to speak to an audience if I'm being honest. I don't
Yeah,
really
no,
want to
thank you.
teach. I don't really.
We don't want to do anything.
Yeah, I want to just hang out with my friends and somehow get paid, and then
We're gonna figure that out though. We're
Yeah,
gonna crack the code.
I don't want to. I mean, if people get inspired by this podcast, but I just want to figure out how to talk to my friends, and that's
And make
it.
money.
Like, I just love my friends and I just want to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Inspire through conversation.
okay, this is probably our last question.
Okay. Just kidding.
What advice would you give to someone struggling to live their truth?
Okay, my advice would be if you are struggling, you have to make such a hardcore effort to be conscious, because if you're conscious with your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, then you can really pick up on, okay, why am I not being authentic? Is it because I don't feel safe with this person? Is it because I have a trigger? Is it, I mean, XYZ, you could go on and on with that. So I think just being as conscious as you can, it's very easy to get caught up in our day of like take the kids here or go to your 9 to 5 job or whatever it is, whatever your life looks like, and go through the motions and turn off that like switch of being conscious. So as soon as we choose to step into being conscious and we're listening to our thoughts and we're feeling our feelings and we're watching our triggers, then you can be more mindful of like, okay, why do I not feel safe here? Why do I not feel comfortable? Why can't I be authentic? And then you can start answering those questions, and then you can start moving through those things and healing.
I love that. I feel like it takes years too.
Yeah, it does.
It
And
takes
it takes a long time.
yeah,
Yes.
it's um I feel like we talked about this other day, but one of the first steps of I feel is heading to your truth is being okay with no.
Yeah.
That was my first word too, so I think I started off
Nope.
really young. Yeah, I was like, "Nope, nope," and my
You
mom's
knew.
like, "Oh shit, this one's gonna be." My mom knew I was gonna be feral, so she just like let me be. She's like, "I'm not. I'm gonna drink because of this one." Um, but yeah, something so simple as just getting better with your nose and um, following your heart, like that feeling you get when you meet someone or you hear an idea and it just sparks, right? The inspiration. And there's a difference between you meet someone that you're sexually attracted to, right? And there's sparks because that's usually like a trauma bond, if I'm being honest. So not that one. I'm talking about like what lights you up. You could talk about it without any notes. You could talk to a friend for, an hour about a conversation and getting closer to your heart's desire. Um, and so that's, I mean, your two simple tools, nose and following your heart over and over.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is powerful. No's, saying no. I think
Yeah.
that is like one of the hardest thing for women too, because we're not taught to say no. So when
No.
you learn to say no, it really does, like, it's like a stepping ladder of like being your most authentic self, being okay, especially saying no to family. Like when I learned to say no to going to family events, I felt on top of the world.
Yeah, it heals a part of you.
Because that's like something you're not supposed to say no to go do X, Y, or Z. So as soon as we started saying no, I was like, oh my gosh, we're doing what's best for us and our kids. And that's really powerful.
Yeah, I mean, we could, I don't want to teach a workshop, but I bet you at this point we could. The
On saying
power of
no.
no. I
No.
just don't want to charge money because like I
No.
don't want to make money that
No.
way. I'm like not here
No.
to coach.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get paid to speak to people. I just want to like hang out and eat food with my friends.
Authentic conversations.
Yeah, and like be in front of a mic on a couch in a room that's beautiful.
Okay, well, I hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope you feel more comfortable in being a little bit more authentic than you were an hour ago. And I hope you got some good tips from this. And oh, what was that thing? I'm going to tell you this quote.
Oh, yeah.
I posted it to Instagram and I was like, the cheat code is authenticity. And I guarantee he's talking about the Matrix. The cheat code to the Matrix is authenticity. When you are fully like true to yourself and authentic, I really do believe it opens up doors to growth, to new relationships, to new opportunities. So it really is. The cheat code is authenticity.
Yeah, and it's the currency of the future. It is authenticity, and that is going to get you through any door moving forward. Even if your career rejects you, your relationship rejects you, just know when you get clear on that authenticity, it's going to catalyze more doors than it closed.
Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. Let's go.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us. Follow us, leave a comment, review us if you feel like you want to. And we're going to leave you with
I'm going to get it right this time. Awaken, laugh, repeat.
bye.
Bye.